your girl Caramel Chris, and I'm back with another video. So today I thought I would just do a little video on tips and tricks for parents that are traveling with a toddler and or infant. This week Troy and I will actually be traveling out of town, so this will be his 4th time flying. The first 3 times were round trips, and this one is actually just a one-way. But I thought I would just give my tips and tricks that have helped him and I when traveling. You don't have to take these tips, but I thought it would be helpful. So if you're interested in seeing what my top 6 tips are for traveling with a toddler, then just stay tuned. Okay, so tip number 1 is to make sure you are prepared. For me, I like to make sure that I am all packed at least 2 days before I plan on traveling, just so I can have a grace period to get last minute things or things that I think may be helpful for traveling or when I get to my destination. So you want to make sure you have meds. You want to make sure you have Tylenol or Motrin and Benadryl. These are all for the child, by the way. You want to make sure that you consult your child's doctor to make sure that you know the dosage that you should give your child. I believe they start giving a dosage at 2 on the children's medicine. So when I first took Troy on his first flight, he was 2 months. So I consulted with his doctor to see how much medication I was able to actually give him so he wouldn't overdose. And it was very helpful. So you want to make sure you have your meds, you want to make sure you have snacks and a cup or a bottle. If you're traveling with an infant, you are able to have their formula already pre-made in the bottle, and they'll just have you screw it off and check it. If you're traveling with a toddler, of course you have to wait till you get through security to get liquids, but I just make sure that I always have his cup, and I make sure that I have him movies or some type of activity prepared. So make sure that you are always prepared. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to make sure that you dress comfortable. Most people dress comfortable when they're going to the airport, but some people like to dress, you know, business casual, wear jeans, all that type of jazz. Some people even want to wear heels in the airport. But when you are traveling with a toddler or an infant, you want to be as comfortable as possible. You want to travel comfortable because you're already semi-frazzled with having to travel with a child. So you want to make sure that you are comfortable and your child is comfortable as well. For me, usually when I go to the airport, I always usually wear yoga pants and a t-shirt or a long sleeve t-shirt depending on the type of weather. I either wear UGG boots or gym shoes because they're really easy to just slide off and keep it moving. With Troy, I either have him wear one of the footsie pajamas zip-up onesies, or I put him on a jogging suit, top and jacket, just so he can be comfortable either way depending on the weather. So make sure that you dress comfortable. So tip number 3 is try to get through security. Now, my first time traveling with Troy, like I said, he was 2 months old, and I was terrified of security. It can be so intimidating with having a child, especially if you have strollers, you have bags. So for me, what makes it easier is either checking a bag, or I carry just one bag with both of our clothes in it, and then I carry another bag for just easy access, like his pull-ups, his cup, his snacks, and his medicine. So it just makes things easier, so I can just put one bag up in the overhead bin and then one underneath my feet so I can have easy access. So with getting through security, most of the time when you're traveling with a child who's in a stroller, lucky for us, we usually get to skip the line. So they usually have me skip the line and I get to the front. What makes it easier for me is to make sure that I take off all of my things first. So I always put the bags on the belt first, and then I get a bin. I put my coat or my jacket, my shoes, my purse, whatever, my phone in one bin, and then I'll take Troy's coat off depending on the weather, if it's winter or if it's summer. I'll take his coat off, I'll put it in the bin, and then I get him out of his stroller, and then I put the stroller on the belt. Usually with going through security, you can either have your child walk ahead of you, or you can hold your child, but you won't go through the security checkpoint where you have to like hold your hands up. You go through the one where you just walk through and then they check you at the end. And people are very helpful. They cannot touch your child or hold your child for you, but a lot of people in line are very helpful. I've had people like help me put my coat back on, or grab my bags for me, help me with my shoes. So just try not to make it look as intimidating as it, or try to make it not be as intimidating as it may look, because people are very helpful in the airport. So that is tip number 3. Tip number 4. So when I get to the gate, I pretty much usually I go to a store, get Troy either some more snacks, or I definitely have to get him something to drink. So I'll get him like apple juice or orange juice, and then I go and I sit at the gate. So tip number 4 is to make sure that you give your child meds before boarding. Now I know some parents may be like, why? I don't want to give my child meds, like I don't want to dope them up before getting on the plane. It's not necessarily what it is. It's actually helping your child. So for the Tylenol or the Motrin, it is for pain, and that helps with their ears popping in the air. And then for the Benadryl, it helps them sleep comfortably through the flight, so they won't even pay attention to actually any of the difference in their ears popping or the pain. They won't even notice it because they'll be asleep. So it actually helps your child be comfortable. It helps you too. As a parent, you don't want a frazzled child on a plane. There's nothing you can do about it. Like there's nowhere you can go. So you want to make sure that you and your child are as comfortable as possible. So I always give Troy his medicine like 3 to 5 minutes before we board. They usually always have the time of boarding on the screen at the gate, so I always just make sure that I give him his medicine, so by the time we get onto the plane, he's comfortable already. Tip number 5. So when boarding, when you're boarding with a child that is under the age of 2, go ahead and you board with those who have injuries, like those who have wheelchairs, things like that. You get to board with them. So which helps out because you need that extra time to make sure that your child is in, put your bags up, things like that. So I always just travel down to the end right before getting on the plane, and I take him out of his stroller. They usually have you get a tag to put on your stroller. I give that to the guy at the, I guess they're like the gate guys that take the strollers, whatever their job title is. But I give the stroller to them, and then I board the plane. Now once I find my seat, I always put him down first. I sit him down first, and then I put my bag above, and then I go ahead and move in and put the bag down underneath the seat. It just makes things easier to just like put them down in the seat and then get things situated, because they're already like in this tight little space. They don't know what's going on, and you don't want them like getting frazzled already because they don't know what they're doing and you're trying to like rustle with a bag. You don't want to do that. So I always make sure that I sit him down first. And then also with tip number 5 is the takeoff. So I always get situated. I always put my bag down. I get him together. I always start his movie or give him an activity to do, just to start it off. So he's already getting calm. He's already comfortable, and he's like situated with his movie. And then once the plane is actually taking off, you want to give them something to suck on. So either if it's an infant, you want to give them their pacifier, or you want to give them their formula. If it's a toddler, you want to give them their cup of juice or milk or whatever. I always give Troy his cup to suck on when they're taking off. Doctors recommend that as well because it helps them with their ears popping once they get up in the air as well. So that's a great tip. Make sure they are sucking on something when you take off. It's so helpful. And tip number 6 is to just stay calm. Try to stay as calm as possible. I know that traveling with a baby or a toddler or a child in general is very nerve-wracking, because you just never know how your child will act. And even though I've given you guys these tips, it's no guarantee that it's really gonna work. It could just help. It can help make you more comfortable. It can help make your child more comfortable. But you just never know, especially if you're traveling with a sick child. But I definitely recommend making sure that you do have the meds. It definitely helps them, and it doesn't have the pressure in their ears. But yeah, just stay calm. People are very, very helpful in the airport and on the plane. I've had people get my bags for me. Like I said earlier, I've had someone help me put my coat on. They've helped me grab things off the belt. They've helped me with a lot of things. So don't be afraid to ask either. If you need help, ask. People are very, very nice. Some people now, they may be like, no, you know, but for the most part, people are very helpful. So just try to stay as calm as possible. If you're calm, your child is calm. If you're frazzled, your child can sense that and they're going to become frazzled. So if you're just trying to be as calm as possible and just focus on trying to make them calm, I think your flight will be great. So guys, those are my top 6 tips for traveling with a toddler. I'm actually going to be taking a road trip back here to Michigan, so I might do a separate video on traveling with a toddler road trip style, because that's a whole nother ball game. Especially, we'll be driving about 10 hours back here, so definitely have some tips for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like always, comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified whenever I have a new upload. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.